Welcome, one and everyone, to episode 401 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. I am your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, here as always with my, I've got them under my shirt again today. My suspenders are not set to maximum stun, they're set to shrouded stun, I suppose. But, got a great show for you today. This is the 400,000 subscriber countdown. As of right now, let me just refresh the page. My channel has 399,733 subscribers. So, we could flip over at any time. It could happen during the broadcast today, or it could happen while we're all asleep. I'm not saying that I'm going to stay up until it flips to 400,000. Because I need my sleep. And I've got a video to finish for tomorrow. But I hope it flips over during the show. That way we can all watch it and celebrate and have a good time. But anyway, I'm really excited about that. Special thanks to everybody who's coming to the program today and who watches my daily shows. We wouldn't be anywhere near to getting nearly 400,000 subscribers without you guys watching every single day. So I really appreciate it. But we've got some amazing moderators in the chat today who are going to be fielding your questions to me. Say howdy, moderators.
Howdy, moderators.
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
We all love dad jokes here on the Scotch and Smoke Rings show. But
Dad joke. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we've got a good show for you. Got a talented crew ready to field your questions. And, of course, we've got some Scotch and cigars. So today we are drinking our 14-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich single malt Scotch whiskey. And we're nearing the end. Also, I couldn't find any clean glasses. So today, sadly, I'm having to use this thing. I don't know what it is. I've been told that it's something called a shot glass. But I don't take shots myself, so I'm just going to call it a beaker. How about that? Let's just call it a beaker, and let's fill this beaker with Scotch. Oh, that's not... No, oh, is that all of it? Oh, that's it. Drain the bottle. Drain the bottle into the beaker. Well, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. I finished off the bottle with this little beaker of amazing liquid. Cheers. And we've got a great cigar today. Today we are smoking a handmade imported Macanudo. And this is my fancy little doodad that I got the other day. I showed it off on the program last week. This is my tabletop cigar cutter. And I've really been enjoying it. And I would hold it up to try and cut the cigar while showing it off. But I actually want to cut this well, because this is my last cigar in stock. So I need to make sure that I don't mess it up because there are no backups. All right, here we go. We're going to use a guillotine. And we're going to do a quick snip of the tip. And it's not unraveling. Ah, that is great. Because that's my last one. All right, there we go. It's fine. Let's set this bad boy on fire. Well, I'm really glad that you guys are here with me today. Hopefully, we're going to flip on over to 400,000. I hope you guys have been enjoying my series on Honest Hearts. I've really been enjoying putting this together. The Honest Hearts DLC has an amazing story, and I've really relished the opportunity to put this to film. We're 3 episodes down. I'm going to be publishing episode 4 tomorrow. And we've got... This is a long story, so I said fortnight, didn't I? It's around 2 weeks, maybe a little less than 2 weeks worth of content, so just over 12 videos. Maybe a little less than 12 videos, maybe 8 videos. I don't know. It's going to be somewhere around there. I've got it figured out, I just don't have it memorized. But the series is great. We're almost halfway through. I guess tomorrow might be the halfway mark. Anyway, and then after that, of course, we will do more New Vegas DLCs. But just, I know that before we get to your questions, I know that the moderators are chomping at the bit. They've been reading your questions and saving them. But there have been a lot of questions about when I'm going to do the next DLC series and which one that'll be. So I'm going to be doing the DLCs in order. So in order of publication. So Dead Money was published first. Honest Hearts was published second, and then I'll be going down the line. But I've got 3 games to work with here. More if you're counting Fallout 1 and 2, which I'm planning to do more content on. Now, I've only done one Fallout 3 DLC, and that's Operation Anchorage. There are a lot of other DLCs for Fallout 3 that I need to do content for as well, including Mothership Zeta and Point Lookout. So at some point, I need to do a series on those, because I'd hate to leave my Fallout 3 fans hanging. So, I will be getting through it all, never fear. But it's going to take time, and that's okay, because you know what? We've got time. And with that, let me hand the floor on over to the mods who will be reading your questions so that I can set this on fire.
Okie dokie. So we'll start with a nice easy one, as you were just talking about your escapades in Honest Hearts. Blanket Runner asks, how are you liking Honest Hearts so far? Some of the personal stories in it are the darkest of all the DLCs. I love it. Keep up the great work, Ox. We've got a number of questions about DLCs as well. So.
Let's go. That's right. Awesome. Hold on.
I never quite thought of it that way, Ox.
Well, yes, to answer the question, I am loving Honest Hearts. I'm not going to rank them. I just can't rank them. They're Dead Money. It's so good in its own way. It's got such a different feel. It's so alien compared to the feel of Honest Hearts. So I'm not going to rank these games, these DLCs, but I'm really enjoying Honest Hearts, and the personal stories, as you say, in Honest Hearts are indeed tragic. We're going to be getting to Walking... Can't believe I just forgot her name. Walking Cloud...
Shallows? Sorrow? No.
No, she's from the Sorrows tribe. Walking Cloud, I think. I forget her name. Anyway, we're going to be doing her the day after tomorrow and her story. It's rough. It's rough. I'm going to have a lot to say at the end of that video because it's so sad. And then, of course, Randall Clark. Oh my gosh.
I believe I told, yeah, that's the... I won't keep chiming in, but I remember talking to you a number of weeks ago about the saddest story in all of Fallout, and I still maintain
I think you're right. I've gone through his... I've shot all the footage, so I know the entire thing. I'm just having to put it all together, and his story, Father of the Caves, it's so heart-wrenching and earthy and brutal, but redeeming at the end that you're just like... And then when you put all of the pieces together and the puzzle becomes complete and you realize the implications of his life and what he did towards the end and how that went on into what you find in Zion Canyon, it's like, oh, it's a great story. So I've got a video completely dedicated to Randall Clark. He is so fascinating, and I'm going to put a lot of time, attention, love, and care into that video because it's such a good story, and I want to make sure I nail it. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be amazing.
Fantastic. And then a question from Remy on the Discord, I believe one of our regulars, says, how did you come up with the name Oxhorn? And then the second part of the question is, and how exactly did you make the transitioning from marketing cloud beds to creating YouTube videos about games? Was it a hobby turned job? And how exactly did your career with Machinima time? You can always tell what's your life story, Ox?
Oh, dear. You can always tell when you've got a stalker going to your LinkedIn profile on the show. Cheers to that. Okay. The name Oxhorn... Okay. The name Oxhorn came because back in the day, my very first online foray, my first foray into the world of the internet was back when I was playing Dark Age of Camelot. Don't know if any of you remember it, but in that game there was a faction called the Hibernians, and within that faction there was a race of creatures called the Furbolgs, and these Furbolgs could become classes called heroes, and the heroes could turn themselves into giant stagmen. And I was a Furbolg hero, and I could turn myself into a giant stagman, and I named him Staghorn. Very creative, right? Well, then World of Warcraft came out, and I thought, wow, Dark Age of Camelot is amazing, but World of Warcraft, this is something else. And so I joined World of Warcraft, but I wanted the same experience, and so I chose the closest thing to a big stag Furbolg creature, which of course was the Tauren. And what are the Tauren but based on the humble bovine, and so I called myself Oxhorn. I did have a female Tauren hunter, Alt, and I named her Bovinaby. Bovine. Anyway, I thought it was clever at the time. But that's how the name came. It's because I wanted to play a Tauren. The Tauren come from oxes, and so I called myself Oxhorn. And that's just, you know, I started making, some of the first videos I made were World of Warcraft videos. And so that's the name I chose. Now this leads to your other question, which is, how did I go from marketing to videos? Well, it was actually the reverse. I started in videos and moved into marketing. I first made a name for myself career-wise with my first YouTube channel, which was on World of Warcraft. Based on the success of that channel, people started to contact me and offer me jobs. That's how I naturally moved into marketing. First, I started marketing for video game companies, and then I started marketing towards video game-related internet companies that develop their own software. Then I started marketing just for software companies. That's how my career moved until last year when I decided I wanted to go back to YouTube and focus on this channel, which I did. So there's the story.
Okie dokie. Mrs. E, one of our patrons and regulars, I believe, asks, what does Ox do for fun when not creating your fine works of art on YouTube?
I sleep. I relish my sleep. It's so one of the things I love about this show is it's the only time all week that I can play a video game just for the fun. And even then I'm still working. Like, this is still work for me. But at least I'm playing a different game, and I'm playing it just to play the game. I just so happen to be broadcasting it, and so I really relish it. Now, I mean, I'm so blessed and lucky to do what I do for a living, and I love being able to sit down and play Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, capture footage, and retell these stories. It's great. But there's also something to be said for the spice of the variety of life. And so having the opportunity to play a different game once a week is nice. And so I relish this opportunity to spend some time with you guys. So
you go from the beauty of post-apocalyptic Fallout to the beauty of post-apocalyptic Russia.
I do, don't I? Right? I'm killing Cazadors and then moving to kill these zombie rat creatures. I hate those zombie rat creatures.
Drink Game Repeat asks, would you consider doing a mod showcase on companion mods? If so, which ones would you recommend? He said he'd recommend checking out Heather.
Oh, like... Oh, new companions. I see. The problem with companion mods, and there's not really a problem with companion mods. People want to make companion mods, people can make companion mods. People want to download and install companion mods. There's nothing wrong with downloading and installing companion mods. But the problem that, for me, with companion mods, is that I really enjoy the stories that come with each of the companions that Bethesda or Obsidian has made. Most of the companion mods we'll get are unvoiced or voiced poorly or don't really have any story. So we basically just have this walking, beautiful character person that someone has designed. And that's cool. But there's a limit to how interested I am in that. So I probably won't be visiting very many companion mods. For Fallout New Vegas, I may at some time work on companion mods for Fallout 4. But if I do, they're going to be mods that improve subtly the companions that already exist. Probably not mods that add brand new companions. There is one mod recently, I forget the name of it, but it came out just a few weeks ago, that it added subtle changes to the way many of the Fallout 4 companions worked, and I felt that that mod enhanced the way that they looked. It didn't change their characters, it didn't change their personalities, it didn't change who they were. You still recognized them, you were still familiar with them. It just subtly improved the way that they looked. Those are the kind of mods I would consider if I ever considered companion mods.
And we'll stick to the Fallout questions for now, I suppose. We're getting a lot of them. So Sky asks, hello Ox, I'd like to ask what you think would happen if the Institute actually helped the CPG. Do you think it would have expanded and become useful, or failed due to other reasons? Thank you very much for answering my question.
Haggis Warrior says, not Heather, she's a full companion. And if that's the case, then, you know, maybe I'll have to give her some attention. So maybe I'll have to look into it. But to I'm sorry, what?
Sorry. No, sorry, go on. I was going to say that I do believe there's a couple of companions who are very heavily voiced and storied, but they are few and far between, if we're being very honest.
Well, if I were ever to do those kind of mod reviews, it would be for the ones that they were well voiced and they had some interesting character. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, if the Institute had decided to work with the CPG, even though they weren't going to get what they wanted, my attitude towards the Institute would be completely different. I don't like the Institute. I think they're evil. But if they worked with people, even if they had done evil things in the past, like being responsible for super mutants in the Commonwealth, that's pretty evil, and it's led to countless deaths. But, you know, even that I'm willing to overlook if they were willing to work with people, knowing that they weren't always going to get their way. That's the problem with the Institute. Once they realized, after spending years, decades, maybe, we'll give them decades, sure, working with the CPG, after they finally realized that they weren't going to get their way, they resorted to murder, to killing everyone in the CPG and destroying it. That's a problem. That's kind of where I draw the line. If they hadn't done that, I'd be totally cool with working with the Institute, right? I don't want to see them go. Not if they've got wonderful technology and they're willing to share it and they kind of move away from their isolationism and they want to work with other people and they want to start changing the way that they do their business to work with other people, then yeah, I'd love to have them around. And there is something to be said for becoming the director of the Institute. As the director, maybe you can change that. So maybe the best ending is to side with the Institute, because then you can put aside all of the evil practices of Father, the man before you, and start doing something new, maybe working with other people. Sure, okay, fine. But the Institute as it is, the Institute as we find it, the canonical Institute in Fallout 4 is, in my opinion, irredeemable.
Okie the Wraith asks, "Hey Ox, I'm loving your channel so far. Have you got any future plans for the vaults in Fallout 3?
Yes, I haven't even touched the vaults in Fallout 3. I have an entire playlist on my channel dedicated to all of the vaults of the Fallout series. I've only got Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 vaults on there so far, and I really want to expand on that. So yeah, getting to some of the vaults in Fallout 3 is high up on my content list. I really want to get through Honest Hearts. Then there are a few other Fallout 3 videos that I want to get done first. I've got a short list of other videos I want to do. And then once that's done, I'm going to be diving right into the vaults. In fact, one of the vaults is on that short list. So yeah, I will be getting into some of the vaults of Fallout 3.
And a semi-related question from Juzu, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. It says, "Hello Ox, I know you're very busy with Honest Hearts right now, but can you tell us if you have more Fallout 1 and 2 lore videos?"
Yeah, it's tricky. So I'm running into a roadblock with Fallout 2. I've installed Fallout 2, I've installed mods for Fallout 2 to get it to work on Windows 10, and every time I log into it, I can get it to load, but the mouse moves so sluggishly across the screen that I just can't function. It takes 2 or 3 minutes to go from scene to scene, because I can't just move my mouse across the screen. And I don't know what to do. I've read every single guide online. I've installed all of the mods they've told me to install. I've tweaked it. I've gotten all of the other games to work. Tactics, Fallout 1, New Vegas. I've gotten them all to work, but I can't get 2 to work on my Windows 10 installation. I know it's probably some small stupid thing that I've just overlooked, and I'm gonna figure it out, don't worry. But that's why you haven't seen any Fallout 2 videos yet, because I can't get the installation to work. Now with Fallout 1, I'm at a hard spot. So with Fallout 1, I did my video on Junktown, and I've moved on to the hub, and I've already shot a ton of footage for the hub. I've used some of that footage in my Crimson Caravan video. But I want to do a big video on the hub in Fallout 2, but the lore is so extensive, spanning so many games and going decades into the future, that I'm having a hard time nailing down the narrative and figuring out which companies I want to talk about. The water traders, all of that. How deep do I want to get into it? Do I go and show off Harold? Or do I make Harold his own video? I gotta figure out how I want to massage that lore into a series of videos, and once I figure that out, then yes, I'm gonna be making some more Fallout 1 videos. Long story short, stay tuned.
Nice succinct answer. Blackbeard3002 asks, hey Oxhorn, what do you think of Joshua Graham now that you're playing Honest Hearts?
What a character. What a character. And I love how he's not so one-dimensional. Because there are a lot of stereotypes you could make about Joshua Graham. And I'm not going to go into them. But he has a variety of character attributes. And each of those character attributes, you would come up with an archetype. You'd be like, oh, he believes in that? Well, he must be this kind of person. Or, oh, he used to be part of the Legion? Well, he must be this kind of person. Or, oh, he came from this area? Well, then he must feel this way. And he dashes those to pieces the more you learn about him. Every time you have a new conversation, the stereotype you have formed of him gets changed, and you're like, oh. Particularly, I really enjoyed his conversation about Follows Chalk, because you really get the impression when you first meet him that he likes getting his own way, especially when he threatens you when you talk about Daniel. Then again, you are threatening Daniel with violence, so I guess I can understand that. But then you go and you talk with him about Follows Chalk, and he's like, I don't want to make up his mind for him. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really mature and restrained. And what I loved about that interaction is he was able to admit that he wasn't a good role model. And he displayed how uncomfortable he was with the idea of the dead horses looking to him as a person that they should become. He knew that he's not a person that people should become. He doesn't want people to live the life that he has lived and to have made the choices that he's made. He recognizes his strengths. He's good at war. He's good in a fight.